That right there is a 795 graco with epoxy attached to it right out of the fiber, cured completely onto the machine, through the filters, through the hose, completely solidified. The two guys that were working the pump left the paint in front of the heater for a little bit too long. Well, we live in a city that has minus 10 degrees around October, so they tried to loosen up the paint and unfreeze it and unthaw it, and they moved it too close to the heater, so it reduced the induction time and the pot life of it, so it completely solidified. Now if you go through the other pictures, inside the pump all the way through, try to save as much pieces as possible, but there's absolutely no use of it. Completely solidified, turned into hard rock. And well, we're trying to fix it in the meantime, but to give you an idea of why this is so dangerous, let me show you how hard this stuff gets. This is the exact fiber that you saw on the first picture. That right there. That is right there after we broke it off. This is the fiber right there. So this is how hard it gets. As you can see, it doesn't even dent it. So, not a dent on it. This is the Amerlock 2. So it does what it's supposed to do, only when you use it correctly. So make sure you don't fuck up. The temperatures have to be ideal. There's temperatures for the tube, for the actual paint that you're supposed to use. The correct temperatures. And watch out for the flash point and the temperature of the surface to be painted. You have to measure that one as well. The ambient temperature. And when you're thinning it, make sure you use the right thinner. Make sure you use Amerlock 65, which has a sweet smell to it. And the wrinkling of the paint, if you're applying this stuff onto actual painted surfaces that you haven't primed, say if it's latex or any other surface, make sure it's dried completely. And if it's not dried or you don't know what's on the surface, make sure you prime it with gripper. It's also a product by PPG. Put two coats of gripper, give it 3 or 4 days to cure, then apply the 2-part epoxy. As you can see, like this is I'm surprised by how strong this got. Every day it gets stronger and stronger. It gets harder and harder. So fuck. So that pretty much covers up everything that you should know. And when you're cleaning it, use xylene. This is what we're going to be doing. We're going to be taking apart every single piece. Well, we took it apart, we dipped it in xylene to get most of the gunk out, but it wasn't fully submerged in xylene. So that is a problem. So everything was dipped in xylene, which eats up a lot of the seals, eats up a lot of the plastic. So after you clean your machine with xylene, make sure you put something a little bit less potent, say just like paint thinner or any type of solvent that's a little bit less potent than xylene, because xylene will eat up all the seals that you have if you keep the machine in xylene. Like we tried picking through that and it was hard as a rock. And this right here is a $4,000 mistake. Well, counting the bucket, it's around $4,300 or $4,400 mistake right there. We'll end with that picture. And it took a lot of cutting to get it off, and the amount of heat that was this thing was emitting, it was enormous. So that's a $4,500 mistake.